Well, first of all, guys, fantastic movie. Loved it. Rachel, I'm going to start with you. When I heard the title of this movie, Ride Like a Girl, I thought it was very clever because normally it's a negative connotation if you throw like a girl, you run like a girl. And when I heard that, I thought, you've put a really great spin on this. You're now making it a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Is that what your plan was?
Yeah, I think two things. It's definitely to take the like a girl back from doing something badly to winning.
Yep.
But it's also, come to mean something as I now understand it through Michelle, because when I conjured it, it really just was that. But Michelle should talk to what ride like a girl. I go, like a girl means winning. Great.
Yeah.
But when Michelle talks about riding like a girl, it's I think there's such a powerful message in there.
Yeah, well, the way I see it is obviously with it being a man's world, and you're not as strong as the boys. You've got to get a guy on for the big races. My proudest thing about being a female jockey is that we bring a whole new element of riding to the cards. They're 500 kilo horses. The men aren't going to. You can't be strong enough. No man's going to be strong enough to beat a horse at their will with their strength. So the way I see it is that riding like a girl's, we've got such a different approach. It's that combination of getting that horse to respond for you with kindness and relax for you, and sometimes through a race a horse will settle and you can save 5 lengths in the first 3/4 of the race by getting that horse to travel sweetly underneath you and breathe and get into a rhythm, and that's what I'm the most proud. That's what I'm so proud about being a female jockey. And you watch the likes of Jaimee, who is just magnificent, and she's killing it in Melbourne. Wouldn't be surprised if she's the next one to win the Melbourne Cup, to be honest. And yeah, that's what I when you came up with the name, that's what I was really proud of it from that point of view.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad it came to me more than just a kind of reclamation title.
Yeah, no, it's a very clever title now from both of those viewpoints. Michelle, we'll stick to what you were just saying about the adversity that you faced. It is a man's world in racing, and you've overcome adversity to achieve your dream in winning at the Melbourne Cup. You must have a pretty big heart to overcome the obstacles that you faced.
I would say probably stubbornness is a big thing. My brother Patrick would say I'm pig-headed. I think that I was just so driven from 5 years old. I was just captivated with the Melbourne Cup when Patrick rode Sunshine Sally.
And came last.
Came last at 300 to 1. They wheeled out the TV like in the movie.
Yeah.
I was in great prep, and I was just absolutely obsessed from that day onwards. And I think just that dream and that aspiration to win our greatest race kept me going through everything that happened. There was nothing putting me off that.
Well, Rachel, I've known Michelle for quite a few years and worked in racing with her. What was it about Michelle's story that grabbed your attention the most, more than just winning the Melbourne Cup, to make this film?
Yeah, look, I think I trusted my instincts on it because I didn't come from a love of racing, and sometimes that can put you in your own bubble of, this is interesting because she won the Melbourne Cup, and if you care about racing, that's enough, but for me as a storyteller, I always start with the themes, and I just knew instantly. I mean, by the time she dismounted and hugged Steve, I realised that was her brother, and that he was the strapper with Maddie on the day. That was already amazing. And then before she'd said get stuffed, I'd already... Thankfully, there's a lot of online material available about the pains. I was at this barbecue, I'm like, oh my God, she's one of 10. Oh my God, she lost her mother when she was 6 months old. That makes her a Disney princess. Oh my God, they lost their sister. Oh my God, all of them were jockeys. And it just kept getting better and better. And, look, I came from a big Catholic family, not as big as hers, but, my cousins, we would have Christmases of, 40, 50, and... my mother was part of a big family, so I did really understand that growing up battler Catholic, with a dream myself, I guess, that was unconventional. It was, I think, I love a sports film.
Yeah.
My favourite genre is a male tearjerker. I call it a merker.
And you were hoping to achieve that with this movie?
I was. Shawshank Redemption, Rocky. I love films like that make men cry.
Yep.
I think if you can make a man cry, you're on to a winner. And I think it just ticked all the boxes. It was inspirational for girls. I think it, for younger men, I think it's an incredibly important film to reclaim that Like a Girl title, because I think any private boys' school in Australia, Like a Girl is absolutely still an insult, and I'd like that to stop, quite frankly, because how we talk about women at that point is, what becomes violence later, respectful language. But I also love, what I've come to love about racing, and I think it's not surprising that, Far Lap and Man from Snow River, these horse films are have been our most successful sports stories, is it's where the country and the city come together. And we're in this moment now where the city doesn't think the country, understand us and why they're voting the way they're voting, and the country think, well, the city have got no idea how tough we've got it with droughts, with, the rural economy. So I thought this film had that something for everyone, and it goes back to those old-fashioned kind of, call them matinee movies, where we used to go to movies together because of family, and it wasn't like a clever kids pick where the mum and dad were getting the in jokes. It was a family picture, and I think Australians used to do that, so well with Crocodile Dundee and The Castle, those big Australian crowd pleasers, Red Dog, I guess, and it's such a brilliant story, and I wanted to make it for all audiences.
And what about Stevie? He was a superstar. When's movie number 2 coming out for him? He did. It is.
Superstar.
I know. He was great. And guys, how important was it for organisations like Tabcorp and in the Melbourne Racing Club to get behind a movie like this from your perspective, but also from yours, to know that you had the industry behind you?
Well, we knew we couldn't make this as outsiders, and Richard and I were racing just total naives. So we brought in Susie Montague, who has owned many race horses, her and her husband Ray, and Susie really kept us on the authenticity and made those connective relationships very early. So the industry knew that we were listening, that we wanted to make a film that would deliver what they want out of a sports film. It's not kind of for them, but it absolutely had to be, pass muster with them. Millions of Australians go to the track every year, and we hope they come to this film and recognise the sport they love, but see it in the new perspective of, being in the jockey's saddle. But look, it's expensive to make a film of this scale. Often girls' pictures are not the big epic stories with thousands of extras and, action sequences. They're rarely do women occupy the centre of those films, and they're expensive. So the only way that we got them up was having the support of people like Katie Page Harvey, who came on as as our first kind of angel investor and backed how important this would be for girls participating in all sports in Australia. And then to have Tabcorp come in as an official sponsor in Racing Victoria, it just really did, financially, this film wouldn't exist without them. And it just created this ongoing group of, a goodwill, I guess. Racing Victoria did shout-outs for volunteers. One thing about Australian films is there's usually no extras because it's so expensive. So those big crowd scenes, we haven't really done them, honestly, since the 70s and 80s. But we had thousands of VRC members and of the turf clubs up here too come down and freeze their butts off for 4 days in the middle of winter in Flemington just to tell this girl's story. It's and because they love the sport and wanted to support what we were trying to do.
I was wondering whether Tabcorp were trying to get some money back, because I might have been 100 to 1, but
people backed you.
Yeah,
they did.
Right, they ran out of money in the
Yeah, everyone got behind you that day.
I thought they might have been trying to get something back and hope this is.
I think they would have lost a lot more on the offer. I had a group of punters actually that in Queensland, and they were betting $5 million or something over that spring carnival with this group of punters. And I was saying to my mate, I was like, oh, come on, just take a slot. You know, we were kind of financing it like the Everest. There were these slots. I'm like, come on, take a slot. I know you bet $1 million last year. And he came back to me and he goes, Rach, it's just really hard. They just all lost so much money on Michelle that year. They've just got only bad feelings about it. And I was, because she blew is it the quaddie?
Yeah.
Yep.
She blew the quaddie out of the water, so I'm sure Tabcorp were well ahead. I'm sure they were well ahead.